everyone, and welcome to another episode of Will There Be Cake? I'm your host, Robert Lamb. With me, as always, Amber Simpson.
Hello.
And once again, we have a guest, Brett Wilkins. Welcome.
It's been a while, guys.
It's been a while.
Did you guys have a good Memorial Day?
Solid Memorial Day that we celebrated on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, just kidding.
I'm glad today is Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday, and today's a special day. Amber Simpson, what is the day that we are celebrating?
Taco Tuesday.
No, it's not. That's every Tuesday. That's not a special day.
Okay, well, it's Leave the Office Early Day.
Leave the office early day. Nice.
Nice.
So, cool.
I don't work in an office, do you?
I don't work in an office either, so this does not affect me.
I can leave the movie theater early.
Yeah.
And I do. I mean,
I've left work early before, but I don't work on Mondays or Tuesdays. So
I didn't work today, or I would have left early,
Right.
just on purpose for this day.
Yeah, I didn't work today either, so this is a pretty good day we're celebrating. We left the office super early because we left the other day. What about you, Brett? Did you leave the office early?
Can I just say I have probably about 15 years of experience working in an office of some kind, and I've never heard of this holiday, so it is not legit. So
Listen,
if you did leave the office early today, good for you, but I think every day needs to be leave the office early day.
I agree.
I'm fine with that.
It's
technically an unofficial day. We looked it up. But it's a
no,
day. It's
no
not going to be a
employer
national.
would back this up.
Right.
Some
It's
of them
not
do,
national.
though. I think it depends.
I mean, I'm sure some of them were like, yeah, go ahead, leave an hour early or something, but maybe that's it.
I've never heard it.
No,
I've never heard it.
You're out of the three of us, you're the only one who's worked in an office before.
Yeah, and
Have you ever left the office early?
did I ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I made a move about almost be 2 years ago at the end of this month, June.
Right.
Where I said I was working in the office and doing music full time, and I hated the office thing. I love the music side of it, and I said I am officially quitting the corporate world and going to focus on just doing music full time.
That's awesome.
And
Good for you.
Thank you. And it was the last Friday of June 2018, so it was like June 28th or something like that.
Right.
That was my last day. I announced it, put my 2 weeks in, and I remember the Thursday before, they wanted to have like a little party. Now I didn't want to have any. I didn't want any.
Was there cake at the party?
There was something like
That's
that.
something we're always interested in.
Like, they wanted to roast me, but it was just like it was awkward for everybody because no one, including myself, no one wanted to be there.
That's what I hear about offices. Is like you're forced into parties all the time.
Yeah, no one wanted to be there.
I've never heard of a roast though.
And
Bob Hope there.
And I just remember my boss said like, so if you guys want to say anything to Brett, like Brett, I don't know, are you coming back after lunch tomorrow? I was like, I don't know. Like it was like if you saw me leave at noon on a Friday, you will not see me ever again. I mean, like, what are you going to do? Fire me?
Yeah.
So I remember that night I went out and hung out with some friends and ended up partying up pretty good with my and just stayed with my friend that lives in Tampa. And I think it was about like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm not going to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, like why?
Yeah, just like it's like I'm just not going to go.
Yeah, why?
Like, what are they going to do? Like it's like it's
exactly.
just done.
It'd be different if you were leaving with like hopes to like get another job.
No, I mean
like that.
I'm confident I burn that bridge, but sometimes it's okay to burn a bridge you never plan on crossing again.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just because I knew like I can't just. It was scary what I was approaching,
right?
But
of course,
something felt so liberating about that. And I remember I had my supervisor contact me. He's like, "Are you coming in today?" I was like, "No." and he said,
Nope.
and at the time, our daughter was 2 and she had broken her right femur.
no.
So it's like I already had that scare of like, here I was about to like, I mean, I'm 2 weeks away from leaving my insurance and my daughter breaks her right femur. I'm like, boy, I'm glad this happened now because it was scary.
Right.
But like everyone in the office knew my daughter had, was in a body cast practically for 2 weeks.
Right.
Jeez.
And he said something like, well, we got all this stuff for your daughter. I'm like, oh, well. I mean, it's like you had 14 days to bring this in.
Exactly.
And you're waiting for like the last day. And he's like, well, just know that we'll have to take this out of your paycheck. And I was about to reply to him. I was like,
Wait, take what out of your
Don't
paycheck?
I take
care.
my one. I was like, I don't have to talk to this guy ever again.
Yeah.
And I just went. I don't have to respond to this.
Yep,
It doesn't matter. So
Doesn't matter.
it was like really cool to just cut ties out of something that mentally was not healthy for me. And this is, if you work in an office and if you enjoy sitting in a cubicle, and I say this to Robert all the time.
Yeah.
But if you're wired like that, you do that. Cool, we need people like you.
Right, we do need people to work in the office.
I was in I was I don't know what's the, I was a square trying to fit into a round peg. I just didn't fit in it, and so I left the office early. And if you're miserable at your office, I hope you do the same thing.
Yeah. I agree. None of us are office people.
Yeah,
Good.
I've never worked in an office.
I don't think I
so-
could. I could not handle it. I've had 2 boyfriends that work in offices, and they weren't. Neither one of them were happy.
See, I think I could do it. I just don't want to. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I could do it. Like, I wouldn't mind just having like a set, like going in, do my input, whatever.
Yeah, but you
and
think
then
that,
leave
but
it.
after so long,
Well,
of
no, I don't think I could do it for very long.
Yeah, okay.
It for me it certainly became Groundhog's Day.
Well,
Yeah,
every
I
job,
mean-
like I feel like for me personally, I just kind of get bored with it after a
Yeah,
while.
it happens. But
Yeah.
with what I do now, I mean, I've been playing this same venue twice a week for almost 2 years, and I get to see the same people, and I enjoy seeing these
Yeah.
people, and I get to kind of share in their lives, and they share in mine. Like,
But that's more of a creative outlet for you too. in
yeah,
the
but it's
sense
also
that-
a job I love doing.
Right, that's
Right,
what I'm
but
saying.
you gotta-
is
you
so
gotta do what you love.
So I mean, there are times that it's like, it's not always easy playing guitar in the middle of August in a 97-degree day, and,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you're just, and you got to do it again. Like, you literally have to leave that gig and go to another. It can be exhausting, and I do like a day off every once in a while, and
Right.
sometimes I don't want to put a guitar on when it's my day off.
Plus, you do weekends now.
I do
every day, pretty
sometimes
much.
I work 10 days in a row.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm one thing I learned about this is that I'm not afraid to work.
Right.
I'm not afraid to work at all. I might be afraid of how boring and how uneventful the conditions may be.
Right.
And I don't know, just the what I felt that I was observing in the office was not healthy for me.
Right.
I just couldn't find anything positive from it.
But even like doing the live music, you're still gonna have bad days with that too.
Of course,
but it's just like for the
absolutely.
most part, overall,
Yeah.
you like it.
I love
so like,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're always gonna have bad days with anything you do,
Yeah.
job related.
Right.
But you definitely want to do a job that you, for the most part, enjoy, like, or at least like pleasantly content. Like,
Yeah.
like
Right.
At worst, I'm pleasantly content.
right
At worst.
at worst. So
At
then you're
worst.
good. Yeah. So then you're fine.
Yeah, I mean,
like you're like, I gotta get through today, but like
Yeah.
tomorrow's a new day.
I mean, I remember waking up. I mean, they call them the Sunday scaries.
Right.
Because you just had like a great weekend. Like,
Yeah,
there's
you got-
studies about this.
Oh yeah.
And Friday you're in such a great mood, and
Mm.
like, woo, Friday night, and Saturday it's like, I don't have to do anything all day,
Yep.
and then Sunday is like, all right, it's still, so we'll hang out by the pool. Then
Sunday night
then
is
it's
like-
1:00,
Yeah.
and then it's 4, and then it's 5,
You're like,
and then I'm like, I couldn't settle down, but I know I had to.
yeah.
And then you just wake up and like 6 a.m. and I'm like, what happened to all this excitement? Now I'm just I felt very alone. It felt very isolated. And I'd wake up and sit in the shower and contemplate
and then Monday
things
through
for
Friday.
yeah,
you're back
just
at the
like, God,
job.
I got to do this again.
5 more
And
days.
the way I looked at it was, I'm up at a time I don't want to be up. I'm sitting in my car where I
In
don't want to
traffic,
be.
like,
I'm
yeah.
I'm going to a place where I don't want to be, where I'm going to be spending the next 8 or 9 hours
Right.
just to turn around. So by the time you get home, it's 6:30 because
Right.
this was in Tampa, but it's like it's 6:30 at night.
You gotta eat dinner and get ready for
Got
bed.
to eat
'cause
dinner,
you
get the
gotta be
kid
up
ready.
early.
Then
Yeah.
it's just like you're just back at it again. So
Which
like
is one of
whole
the
life-
that's one of the reasons why I never wanted to live far from where I ever worked.
Which is
because,
smart.
because for the most part I've liked my jobs that I've had,
Yeah.
but they do get tiring, and the last thing I want to do is sit in like an hour or 2 hours traffic,
Yep.
going to a place that I just don't want to be at that day.
Right.
Like that just seems like it would just put you in a
Yeah.
bad mood, and
So-
I don't know
it
how
starts-
people do that.
Yeah, it starts your day off awful, especially for me. Like I get paid hourly, so on those days that I don't plan to sit in traffic. So, well, even if I plan to sit on traffic,
Yeah.
that's already an hour out of my day that I could have been doing something if I lived closer to my job.
Right.
But if I'm not planning on it, then I'm either like 45 minutes to an hour late to work, and I'm not getting paid for that. So
Right.
it's
Yeah, no, that's
and
not
and
fun.
like I mean, there like I can see the attractive upside of working at an office because you're salaried. You
get your weekends
you
off.
have health insurance.
Yeah, you get
certain
insurance, you get
holidays
benefits,
off, you
yeah.
get paid time off, which I don't get any of those things.
Right.
I mean, there are times like I've put, I have a whole schedule of every gig I have for the year as I book them. It's just on the spreadsheet and how much money I'm going to make. And it sucks when I wake up on a Saturday morning expecting to make this money and I get a phone call due to weather, we have to cancel it. Now, that was money I was forecasting to have come in my – this is corporate terms I'm talking about, but I had forecasted this money to come into my bank account, and it's gone.
Right.
That's the downside.
Yeah.
The upside is that 2 years ago, I didn't wake up on a random weekday and come and record, Parts of Paralyzed with you or whatever.
Different podcasts, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get to pick up my daughter from school and I take her to Chuck E. Cheese in the middle of the day. I get to do stuff like that.
And if you do that during the week, it's not as crowded, and so that's nice
I get to go home, and by 3:00 on a Wednesday, I'm drinking a reef donkey by the pool with my neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, I just get to do all these things. So,
well, that's the thing. It's my parents both have 9 to 5 Monday through Friday jobs. They've always had those, and my dad's content with it because he's been doing it for literally 35 years now.
mm-hmm.
He's been doing the same basic job. He's moved a couple places, but he still works for Baycare.
Yeah,
and that's just what he does. 9 to 5, and he likes it. It's good. He makes decent money, and
that's awesome.
That's enough for him.
People.
But he's always asked me about those kind of jobs. Like, you gonna get another job? You gonna stay where you are? I'm like, I'm good where I am.
Yeah,
I don't want that kind of job.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
No, and that's cool because a lot of people can't recognize that in themselves, and they're afraid to take a chance.
Yeah.
And what I do, I mean,
it is scary.
Even though it is different, it's terrifying. But what I do, even though it's different than what most people do, the one thing I have in common is I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I have to maintain a business, and I have to consider all these things in order to keep that business successful.
Right.
So I have to be professional. I have to keep my books in order. I have to keep myself healthy.
Yeah.
I can't do a lot of physical, because if I break this arm,
Yeah. You're not playing guitar.
I don't. Yeah. So let's
Right.
skydiving is not something I really care to do.
Right. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But that's just not something that I want to do because that wouldn't be worth it. I mean, cool, I can say I jumped out of a plane, but it's not worth me being out of work for 6 weeks.
Right.
Because to me, I know people that skydive, the last thing they'll ever do is stand on stage in front of 100 people.
Really?
Yeah. So,
That's scary.
it's just... Yeah, so it's all different. But yeah, at the end of the day, I've learned a lot from the corporate world that I've been able to apply to it.
Yeah,
So,
which is good that you have that experience.
I'm not gonna completely
Well, the structure
ignore it.
there is helpful in the sense
Yes.
of you know what you have to do, how to get things done.
Yeah.
And that probably helped you along the way. I mean,
It
that's
did.
basically what school is for kids, is having that structure of waking up early, doing your job, getting back home and stuff like that. That's kind of setting you up for the real world, because a lot of people do that. You have to have that structure, but
Plus, you're just kind of raised to think that that's the American dream, your 9 to 5 job, go home.
that's
to
true.
the
But I
kids.
think things are changing, though. I think
They are.
for the
Oh,
most
yeah,
part,
definitely.
the fact that people can make money off of YouTube and Twitch
Twitch,
streaming
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, even this coronavirus scare is encouraging companies to have their employees work from home.
right? That's
And
true,
this,
yeah.
I mean, this pandemic could actually change the office as we know it, because I think, first of all, I'll never get when I was driving to my job, and I'm like, why in the hell am I driving over to? Why am I sitting in this traffic? I have a laptop in my back seat. At home, I have power. At home, I have internet. I could do all this at home.
Right.
Why am I driving
To a building.
sit to a building to do the same thing that I can do at home?
Yep.
And that's how the employer wanted it, and his company. So yeah, it's his rules, and I understand that.
Yeah,
but
for
it
sure.
just it didn't make sense to me. The office should be remote these days.
I agree.
I don't believe in the team building. I'm going to call it bullshit. I don't believe in it because
I think it just depends what the job is.
It does. It
maybe
definitely does.
certain ones, but it just depends. If you're just inputting numbers all day, you don't really need that team.
If I got to see my coworkers 5 days out of the week, the last thing I want to do is spend any free time I have with them. No offense to them, but let's face it. I see you guys more than I see my wife. I'd much rather be any free time I have. I'd much rather be spending it with her and my daughter. But
all of my knowledge of office relations and stuff come
The Office?
from the movie, the show,
and
The
it's not
Office.
but it's not far off.
Yeah.
No, I know.
It really
I
isn't.
figure, yeah,
it isn't far off. Like, no, I don't want to do the. And I mean, maybe because I'm
Michael
not
Scott
fun.
would totally let his people leave early.
He would.
He would, and then
Early,
he would get in trouble for it, and then he would
He gets scolded, and then
David Brent, Michael Scott. The character comes from a really good place,
right.
but they're just too dumb for their own good. Maybe I don't know. It's just
Awkward, just awkward.
Yeah,
I
so
love
they're
it.
socially
I love
awkward.
it.
Yeah.
So this day is more of like a managerial strategy. That's like kind of what it came from. It's kind of to push people to either try and get their bosses to let them leave early, or for like a manager to realize that a day like this is good for their team members.
You figure every once in a while, I've heard people getting off on Fridays or something like that,
Yeah.
like early. I don't know about Tuesday, but like certain days, like, go home early if you can get your work done by a certain time.
Right, exactly.
3:00 Fridays or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
This holiday, unlike some of them that we do, actually has like a creator, like an inventor of the holiday. It was invented by Laura Stack. It's either Stack or Stock. I can't read my own handwriting. Either way, she was the author of Leave the Office Earlier, which is a book, obviously. And she was a specialist in employee productivity. She noted that Americans work about 49 hours a week at the grand total of 350 more hours a year than most Europeans, which obviously can prove detrimental for many reasons.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's a lot of days.
It's supposed to be about like a company thinking about their employees by like kind of also it's supposed to like increase productivity, letting them know like get things done quicker and you'll get out earlier. So
Well, that's
God
good.
bless you, Laura.
Yeah.
She's a national hero in my opinion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I said, I don't really work in an office, so I'll leave early whenever I can, but probably not today since I didn't work.
You know, it's so funny though. Before, like we were talking about traffic and you know, like where you work and having this like 45 minutes of sitting in your car.
Yeah.
One time, I live in Largo. One time, I worked at an office all the way in North Tampa.
Oh.
So that was an hour plus drive.
Yeah, I know.
Well, one of my coworkers, great guy, but I had a conversation with him that just depressed the hell out of me.
Yeah.
We compared how much time we spend in the car each day, and he lived the way he described his commute was when I get in my car, there's mandatory Metallica that's like on the station.
Right. Yep.
He's like, I'm home before the first Metallica song is over. It's when they play two songs back to back.
Oh,
He's
really?
like, I'm home before the first one, and I went, so you're home in about 5 minutes?
Yeah,
and I
right.
said, yeah, and my other coworker's like, Brett, have you actually done the math on this? And when I did the math about how long he's in the car and how long I'm in the car, he gets a day off every week.
Whoa.
That's how much, it was like I was in the car for 8 hours a week compared to his hour. I was like, my God, you earn a day off every day.
Jeez, that's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I would never want to live like that far. It's the only positive I can think of is that I know some people, especially in LA, I've heard stories of like friends who've lived out there because traffic's really bad, and they listen to a lot of audiobooks and a lot of podcasts.
I get a lot of like music and podcast listening.
Right.
When I'm sitting in my car.
I guess is good. But like one guy, he said he used to listen to like literally like half of an audiobook sometimes, like just getting through, and then the other half on his way back.
And I mean,
it would take him like 3 hours to get to work sometimes and stuff, and it's just like
3 hours to get to work.
Yeah,
how is that even worth it?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
6 hours. Like that's 6
he said
hours
it would take him his whole day. He would leave
what
at
did this
like.
guy do?
I don't remember. This was a long time ago. This was
But it was in
I
LA.
want to say it was like it was in LA. I want to say it was like early 2000s or something like that.
I mean,
if
let's say you have to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you have to leave.
Well, it wasn't every day. Like he didn't. It wasn't like a Monday through Friday thing. I think it was
Sure.
only like 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, you just move closer.
I mean,
closer.
that's when you have to ask yourself, what's more important, money or time?
Yeah.
Because
But he listened to a lot of audiobooks, so that's cool.
Well, yeah, and I guess if listening to audiobooks is your goal in life, then get a job where you work 3 hours away. But I don't know. You can do so much more than just be sitting in your car 6 hours a day. And like I don't mind being in a car for 6 hours, but I have to move.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't.
I can't sit in a
there.
parking lot because now I'm just sitting, and it gets the best of me. So
Yeah, no.
if you left the office today, good for you.
Yeah,
if you're
celebrate-
miserable at what you do, quit
Yeah.
and do something that you love.
But
Wait.
when you leave that office early, should you get some cake?
I mean,
No.
maybe.
I think you can. I think you stop off and you get some cake and you indulge. You're
Well,
off
it
early.
depends. Was it the receptionist's birthday yesterday, or what? Or was it?
Yeah,
not?
I was gonna say. I think with it being like an office thing, because I hear a lot of stories about people who are like, it's like like July. Wait, what month are we in? June's. It's June birthday day. Everyone report to the office. We're all
Right.
Yeah,
cake
and
for
we
all
did
day.
that.
Yeah.
And I personally got weirded out how excited grown adults would get over cake.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then they would
we
then,
get
then
excited
they would
over
argue.
cake.
They would argue over what kind of cake they would get because one girl was counting her calories and
Yeah,
because
no,
she's
didn't
on
want
this
an
and
ice cream cake.
yeah, and it's like, guys, it's cake. It's batter and sugar and a couple of eggs.
Don't
you know?
talk crap
Yeah.
about cake on our
yeah, this
podcast.
is we're trying to find out if we can have more cake on this podcast, by the way.
I say this is one of those days you don't have cake.
Fair enough. I don't
Like
want cake.
you're
No, I'm
leaving
good with
work
cake.
early. Go like spend time with your family. Volunteer. Like catch happy hour because you left early. Like
Agree to disagree, I think. On your way home, you stop at the local bakery
All right,
and you
fine.
bring home a cake.
All
Do you want me to
right,
go
fine.
get you a cake?
I'm just saying, I think you can have a cake today. I think it's a celebratory day because you're leaving the office early.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a chance
What else
to-
are you going to do? You have to work tomorrow.
I'm very happy
true.
that you're rooting for the office guy and you're telling the office guy or
Yeah,
gal
'cause
to.
someone
I'm
needs
trying to
to.
put
Enjoy
trying to put his shoes on and feel what it's like to be that office
Are you gonna
guy.
have cake today?
I'm going to have some cake
I
today.
think you should.
You
Even
should
though
have
I didn't
cake
leave
today.
the office early today, but
Yeah,
in honor of
in
that.
honor of everyone else.
but not
leaving.
and not everyone's leaving the office today. So if someone
That's
is
true.
sitting at the office and they're going to be listening to this podcast, they're going to be really pissed off that they're not leaving the office today because
That's
Yeah.
true.
I think you just have
Just-
to
here's
take
what
it
you do.
upon yourself.
Go up to your boss and be like, "Hey, today is National Leave the Office Early Day."
Yeah.
And in the words of Laura Stack, it's good for me and good for you if I get to leave early. Got to keep that work-life balance going on here. Tell them to read
I mean,
the
if
book.
that doesn't work, yeah, beautiful.
That's what you do. Give your boss the book and be like, "It's all in here."
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
I'll
Deuces.
catch you tomorrow.
Deuces.
All right. Well, I guess that does it for this episode of Will There Be Cake? Kind of split. That's fine. But
Is this
yeah,
another
so,
2 against 1?
yeah, 2 against 1. That's fine. But yeah, if you work in an office, leave early if you can. If you can't, oh well, whatever. Don't.
Life
Yeah,
sucks. Then you
don't lose your job over it.
Lose your job over it.
or do if you have
Grow,
something lined
evolve,
up. Yeah.
progress.
That works.
Agreed.
All right, that's it for this episode. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
This has been a Seven Lamb production.